Hi, everybody. It's Matt from Discover College Soccer. I hope you're enjoying the podcast, whether that's on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I also wanted to let you know about the Discover College Soccer Study Table. This is our brand new online portal that is complete with a 14-part online course giving you all of the ins and outs of the college soccer recruiting process. There's also a wealth of resources such as checklists, templates. There's the spreadsheets that have every soccer program in the country, along with their coaches, their contact information, their social media information, some basic stats about the school, and more. Plus, there's an online community where you can ask your questions, share your wins, your losses, any questions that you may have around the college soccer recruiting process. It's all there at the Discover College Soccer study table that you can find at discovercollegesoccer.com/study table, and hopefully we will see you there. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Discover College Soccer. Today, I'm lucky enough to be joined by Coach John Thornton. Welcome, Coach.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. You are up at Shoreline Community College up there just north of Seattle, right?
That's where we're at.
All right. Well, I think right now you and I almost couldn't be farther away in the contiguous United States, but that's all right. That's the beauty of this platform, right? We can be thousands of miles away, but we're talking to each other right now, so that's great.
Exactly.
Well, congratulations. I think you just took over that program, right?
I did. Wonderful opportunity. I left Bear Creek High School shortly before and ready for this challenge.
Okay. Well, I know you're a junior college. What division of junior college is Shoreline?
So we play in a conference called the NWAC, which really just makes up Washington schools, Oregon schools, and a couple Idaho schools. And so that's our division, our conference rather. And Washington itself is broken up into 3 different divisions, and we're in the Northern Division. So
Okay. And are you guys able to give out athletic scholarships at your particular junior college?
yeah, we actually have a great program where, as the coach, I can give out. We're in a quarter system, so I can give out 33 quarters of reduced tuition up to 25%.
Okay. Awesome. And so, well, let's talk a little bit more about recruiting because I mean, the hardest thing to do as a new coach is recruit, and it just being at a junior college makes it doubly hard because you're turning over double the amount of players each year.
Right.
So I guess what's been your focus? What have you been trying to do to get players? Where do you go to try to find players? What's that look like?
Uh, so where do I go to get players? Everywhere and anywhere. We've got 3 committed returning players from the previous year. So we're effectively building a brand new program. So I've talked to players in Hawaii. I've talked to players in Florida, all over the U.S. Even a couple abroad. So yeah, we're looking everywhere and anywhere. And really, what my focus is people with the desire to play. Like a lot of girls get overlooked and that sort of thing. And I want to make sure that people that want the opportunity and want to put in the hard work and the dedication get that opportunity to try.
No, and I think it's a great way to look at it. And I'm always telling people, look, if you really want to play, there is an avenue for you, and sometimes that avenue may be junior college in Seattle, Washington, but there's always folks out there that are looking and possibilities are available. So I mean, it's I know you're kind of rebuilding from scratch, but it's not a new program. It's one that's been around a while, right?
Oh yeah, it's been an existing program. The good part about the Pacific Northwest is we have a really robust soccer culture. We're going to be hosting one of the World Cup games in Seattle. Everything revolves around soccer in the Pacific Northwest. So there's a lot of great competition and a lot of visibility from D1, D2, D3 schools, a couple NAIA schools in the area too. That are always looking at the local talent or the local community college players that are playing in this area.
Yeah, for sure. And it can be a great pathway. Now, you mentioned that you're looking for desire. What else are you looking for in a player when you're out there about watching games and talking to folks?
When I'm talking to folks too, what's important to me is academics. Our athletic director has a goal of 90% graduation rate of the athletes at our program. So that's a lofty goal. So I have a background of being a high school teacher for 10 years. So, bringing that piece into it and, really making sure that the athlete is focusing on their academics as well as playing soccer. That way, it's kind of double edged. That way, when they go off at the end of our program and try to go to a 4-year university, they've got a good GPA and a strong academic background as well.
No, and I think that's fantastic. In terms of academics as well as the financial perspective, we'll talk a little bit more about the school, but um, what would a typical player, depending on the scholarships you mentioned, and let's just say they had good academics, what would a player be walking into or expect to have to pay if they came from out of state? Let's just say.
So we have a really cool program here in Washington where any of the neighbors, any of our neighbor states, to include Alaska and Hawaii, actually pay in-state tuition. So in-state wise, we're about $1,700 a quarter, and the scholarship that I can offer takes about $400 off of that $1,700. So you really can't beat that. And when it comes to accommodations, we do have dorms, which not all community colleges have, but our team has decided they've rented 2 houses, and the players divide themselves up and they live in these 2 houses right in a subdivision right outside of the gate of the college. So it's a really cool experience for them. And it's, kind of cost saving as well, because then they can use the kitchen and cook and, prepare meals at home and, that kind of stuff. So.
Yeah, that is a great option. I know had to wait to be an upperclassman when I was in college to do that, but so that's great. Well, let's talk a little bit more about the school, just because I'm sure there's folks not familiar. What are some of the awesome things about Shoreline that maybe we wouldn't learn just by clicking around the website?
I think one of the cool things about Shoreline is that there's something for everybody. We have an auto mechanic program, dental hygienist program, fine arts, music, psychology, everything that you could want. It's so a lot of the schools around this particular area are either technical 2-year colleges or they're, more academic 2-year colleges. And I think the Shoreline has a great mix of both of those things. So whether you want to, go into a technical field or, something that you can, do a couple of semesters of Shoreline and get your certificate and, go on about your career. Or if you want to transfer to a 4-year university, we have programs for that as well.
Okay. Well, in terms of, I know you haven't been there for the season yet, but just in terms of how student athletes kind of balance those rigors of both playing a sport and academics, does the school offer any kind of support services, or how do students go about that?
Oh yeah, our support services are awesome. We actually are putting the finishing touches on a student success center, or student athlete success center, and in that center is going to be the navigator positions are going to be held in there. And those are folks that, will help you, with your degree and, help figure out what direction you want to go and that sort of thing. Tutor accessibility, and all that kind of stuff. And then as well, we do require a mandatory study hall, and that's with me. So, I'm checking up on your grades to make sure that there's no surprises when it comes to academics. So the support is there, and everything that a player needs to be successful is in place. So I think it's a great opportunity for somebody, especially fresh out of high school, that maybe this is their first time, away from home or, that sort of thing. A lot of support's there to make sure that you stay on track.
Okay. Well, let's fast forward to the fall, right? Your first season, you've got the roster set, you're ready to go. Can you walk me through what a typical week might look like, just in terms of when classes, practice, meals, games, that sort of thing?
Yeah, so the great part about our school schedule is we don't actually start school until September 15th. But our practices will start August 1st. So we will go into about a 2-week camp, and then we drive down to Seattle itself, and we do a friendly tournament with other schools in our conference, and then we roll right into the season. So what I really like about that is that, the players get an opportunity to figure soccer out before we add, academics on top of that. And then we play on Wednesdays and Saturdays, and we'll play up until about the end of November. And then we'll go on hiatus until the spring season. We actually play 2 seasons at Shoreline.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of opportunity. And I think that's, something that's super important, especially for players that want to transfer off to 4-year universities, is we get, 2 seasons, so they get twice as many looks.
Okay, that's awesome. Well, when it comes to season and you're there coaching, uh, is there any other staff? Is it just you? What's that going to look like in the fall?
Actually, we just hired my assistant coach Norm Gibbs. He's awesome. He comes to us with about 35 years of experience of coaching and a playing history in England before he moved over here to the U.S. So he specializes in development of players. So I think that he's going to be a great asset to our team and our community, uh, to help build up this program.
That's great. Well, how would you describe kind of your style of coaching and what you hope to see the team style of play be?
It's a very fast style, very very aggressive. Uh, the formation that we're kicking around is a 3-2-4-1, so it's going to be super top heavy, up front heavy. So I think that we'll be in a great situation. We've got three really great center backs identified that I think can hold off the storm, and great returning goalkeeper. So it should be an interesting season.
Okay. Well, in terms of um, the bigger picture and kids going to junior colleges, a lot of times they are focused on those next opportunities. So, any advice for players that would be kind of using that junior college route as a way to a 4-year university?
Yeah, to me, I think it would be, make yourself indispensable. Make it so that when you're leaving the program, I want to sell you to, UW or Central Washington, or whatever the case may be, whatever school that you want to pursue. And because I think it has a great benefit for the player, but it also has a great benefit for us as Shoreline, you know, so that we can advertise those successes and show that people are going on to bigger and better things when they leave here.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I know you said you had 3 returning committed, at least at the moment, but is there a roster size that you're really hoping to hit?
Ideally, we would like 22. That's our max roster size, and that's what we would like to carry off into the year. And I think that we can do that. We're going to have a team. There was some question about how big we were going to be, but yeah, my goal is set at 22.
Okay. Well, in terms of you mentioned potentially having international players, but is the transfer portal something that you're looking at or come into play with your recruiting at all?
Uh, I have not been specifically targeting transfer players. If a transfer player were to reach out, we would definitely entertain that. Uh, because we are a self-contained conference, there's a little bit of wiggle room with eligibility and things like that we actually have as a benefit. So yeah, if you're an international or if you're a transfer player, go ahead and reach out because we'll definitely talk to you.
Okay. Well, Coach, we've talked about a lot of different things, and one of the things I always like to ask is if you had one nugget, one piece of advice that you could pass along to recruits or parents of recruits that are going through this process right now of the college recruiting process, what would you want them to know?
I would say open and honest communication is probably the most important thing to me as a coach. This is the start of our relationship together, the player and coach relationship. So if we start that with good, open communication, I think that really sets us up for success, later on.
Okay. Well, Coach, I really wish you the best of luck and hope that you get a nice 22 person roster and rock the conference. And we're talking a year from now, and you're telling me about what a wonderful year it was.
I hope so too.
All right. Thank you much.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye bye.